Hey, you know a nigga came from nothing, right?
What is up, you guys? This is your boy B Vision ENT, and today I am bringing you my review of the Venom movie. Yes, the infamous Venom movie that the critics have been destroying for the last few months. The movie that the internet has destroyed all weekend. This is my review for that movie. So, overall, I give the movie about a 7.5 out of 10, and I'll explain why I gave it that score here throughout this video. One of the main reasons that it can't be a 10 out of 10 no matter what is that it doesn't follow the comic book really at all. I feel like they took bits and pieces from different versions and kind of mashed it together to make their own story, which for a real Marvel comic fan is real messy. And for anybody who's been following the MCU or just any of these new superhero movies, when you don't follow the script of the comic, the real fans are going to complain. So that was mistake number one for Sony for this movie. Another big issue I had with the movie was just how slow the beginning was. I really felt that the beginning was real slow when it comes to seriousness, when it came to good comedy, when it came to any action going on, and I think it was really hard for me to catch on. And I'll get into what happened in the beginning and what happened in the end, and how the end was spectacular. I would not deny that at all. The end was what makes the movie a 7.5 out of 10. If the end of the movie stayed on the same pace as the beginning, it would have easily been a 3, and I probably would have walked out the damn theater before the movie was even over. But luckily, I didn't even have to go that far. So basically, the movie begins with a scene with the ship crashing, and the ship crashes. We find out that there was 4 symbiotes on the ship. One of them is missing, and we find out one of them was in one of the astronauts who was getting taken to the hospital, and on the way, the symbiote goes into a paramedic who walks off into the darkness, and we see her later on in the movie. So then we learn about the main character, Eddie Brock. He's the modern day Marvel Universe Barbara Walters. He's a huge news reporter. He does investigative journalism, and he had worked for a firm in New York City in this version, and he got fired because he was going after some big corporations. And he gets fired, and he goes to San Francisco living with his girlfriend, and unfortunately he gets an assignment of interviewing a big-time CEO of a modern space technology medical company named Carlton Drake. This guy Carlton Drake is he's an asshole. He's your typical stereotypical scientific nerdy asshole. Does not care about people. He wants to do whatever it takes for his company, for his experiments, and he's one of those guys that's always right, and it doesn't really matter what happens to people because he's always right, and he's going to do whatever it takes to get a dollar. He's just one of those type of people. So during the interview, Eddie starts asking Carlton about all types of stuff that really he wasn't supposed to go to. He starts just jumping the boundary of what this interview was supposed to be. He actually stole some confidential information from his girlfriend, and he asked Carlton about this information. This doesn't go well. The interview gets ended really quick, and in the next scene we actually find out that Carlton actually had Eddie's girlfriend fired from her law firm because of the leaked information. And in turn, Eddie actually gets fired as well. So we move on into the movie. Eddie gets invited back to Carlton's labs by one of the scientists. He ends up seeing a homeless person that he personally knew who was being experimented on and begging him for help. He tries to break her out, and when he does that, she attacks him, but the symbiote transfers into Eddie. And throughout the movie, we have Eddie learning to deal with the symbiote, and this is where the movie really got good, when Eddie gets the symbiote. The comedy aspect, Eddie versus the symbiote, him trying to learn to function with this thing, the craziness that was going on, eating live lobsters in the middle of a restaurant, puking in bathrooms, just the whole 9 yards. This is where the movie starts to get great and funny. Carlton sends his goons after Eddie, and the symbiote just takes over and starts kicking ass. And there's the stereotypical superhero movie car chase scene with Eddie on a motorcycle getting chased by drones and 20 thugs in all these black SUVs. It was pretty stereotypical, but it was a really good scene. And this is where we actually seen Venom come out for the first time. He kicks ass, he bites some heads off, and it was really good. So we move on in the movie, and Eddie's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend at this point, her new boyfriend is a doctor. He gets Eddie into an MRI room, and they're going to try to remove the symbiote from Eddie. They turn the MRI machine on, and the high-frequency sound, which is one of the weaknesses of a symbiote, causes the symbiote to come out of Eddie, and it ends up escaping through a drain. Eddie gets caught by Carlton's thugs, and the symbiote actually transfers into his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend I should say, transfers into her, and Eddie gets taken to Carlton, and they interrogate Eddie about the whereabouts of the symbiote. He says, I don't know where it's at, it's not in me no more, and basically Carlton says, hey, well, I don't got nothing to do with you no more, and lets his goons go and take care of Eddie, which means kill him, of course. And in the woods, they're about to kill Eddie, and a female taken over by the symbiote with the full symbiosis actually comes and saves Eddie, and it turns out it was his ex-girlfriend, gives him a good big kiss, and the symbiote transfers back. So then we have our big major scene, the fight scene, the ending scene of the movie, and it's Carlton, who has his symbiote, which is one of the stronger symbiotes, fighting against Venom with Eddie, and it could have been better. There was so much going on, so much CGI going on, that it was really hard to focus your eyes on one thing, and I just think that maybe they would have just slowed it down a little bit, had some more traditional fighting, and this was so much rolling around and symbiotes mixing up and all sorts of stuff going on that it was harder to enjoy than it should have been. And honestly, it could have been better. I don't know how it could have been better. I'm not a filmmaker, but I just feel like it was just too much going on, and they should have just toned it down a little bit. Just tone the shit down, make it simple, and I think you would have had a better final fight. But in the end, the symbiote that had Carlton, they go up into the spaceship, and they're headed off to the planet where the other symbiotes are to bring the rest of them back to Earth. Eddie and Venom take his dagger and they stab it straight through the gas tank of the ship, and it blows up. It looks like they die as well, but we find out that Eddie and Venom are still alive, and basically they live happily ever after together. So that's how it ends. The movie was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, but I feel like there's some things they could have done better. Like I said in the beginning, all the stuff I said in the beginning, but one other thing, the struggle between Venom and Eddie was non-existent. One moment, Venom was telling Eddie, oh, I own you, and you do what I say, I'm going to destroy the world, and you might live if you comply with me. And the next minute, Venom's like, well, I like you, I want to save you and the world, and we need to stop this other symbiotes. And there was no type of struggle between the two characters to bring Venom to this point. There was no talk no jutsu. That's a Naruto reference for you that watch Naruto. There was nothing that Eddie did to Venom to make Venom change, and it was just like a sudden change in personality. It was kind of awkward, if that's the right word for it. Just as you're watching, if you really pay attention to plot, it's like how? That was my question. Actually, in the movie, I turned to my girlfriend, and we were just like, how? Did he just suddenly become a good guy after he was threatening Eddie with, killing everybody? That was a really big no-no for me during the movie, and the other one, of course, was not following any sort of comic at all, which could have been done a lot better. Some of the things that were good in the movie, the comedy, the struggle between Eddie and Venom. At first, with Venom wanting food and wanting raw food, and Eddie telling Venom, no, you can't eat him, he's my friend, and Venom just saying, food, eat him, bite his head off, and that was funny, that was hilarious. The whole intensity in the second half with Carlton's lab and the experiments and the biblical references, that was great. That was great, and I think they did a great job with that. But I really feel like they could have kind of filled out the characters a little more and made the characters a little bit stronger. And of course, the struggle between Venom and Eddie. I mean, I did mention there was struggle at the beginning, but there was no type of solution. Like, it was just like one moment Venom's evil, the next minute he's good. So I think that definitely could have been better. So you guys, let me know what you guys felt about the movie. I personally give it a 7.5 because the ending was a lot better and there was its problems. I feel like I would have gave it about 8.5 if the struggle between Venom and Eddie would have been better, if there would have been like more of an obvious showing that, like they would have actually showed the change in Venom's personality. That should have been something that should have been a main point in the movie to make us like Venom, to make us like the heartfelt moment that just wasn't there. That would have been a great thing to have in this movie, and it just wasn't there. So that probably would have brought it up to 8.5, 8.6. And of course, you can't have a 10 out of 10 movie that's based on something if it's not even following the script of what it's based on. I hate that with a passion. That's exactly why Dragon Ball Evolution and all of its horribleness could never even be a 2 out of 10 because they did not follow the script, let alone it's just horrible. But you have to follow the script of any movie that you're trying to make based off of something, and I feel like it's very disrespectful to the writers of the original product if you're not going to follow their product. I think that's just so disrespectful to try to change something to make it your own, and that's already great. You can't do that. That's just a no-no. And I feel like it's one of those movies where the real comic book fans, the real Venom fans, they're going to hate it, and casual fans and those who just go to the movies and watch stuff because it's there, those people will enjoy it more. I'm more lenient, and I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore Marvel fan or even a Venom fan at all, but I do understand where they're coming from about not liking this movie. But I'm just lenient. I know the problems with it, but I can just watch the movie for what it is. And for entertainment value, it was a 7.5 out of 10. I'll give it that much. It was not a bad movie. So would I say actually go to the movie and spend your money? That's on you. If you really want to see it, if you're bored and you have the money to do it, go ahead and see it. If you don't have the money and you're kind of skeptical on it, I say just wait till Netflix. Wait till you can just get a free method of watching it. I wouldn't spend my money if you're kind of on the line, if you don't want to see it. But if you're already spent on seeing it, if you really want to see the movie, go ahead and see it. The entertainment value in the movie is good. It's not a bad movie. It's just when you're being technical and judging it and comparing it, you're not going to get what you want. So, you guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. And subscribe to my Instagram. Subscribe to my Twitter. That's both BVisionENT. Subscribe to me and follow me on Twitch. I do game. I play a lot of games. I play Destiny 2. I play Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Naruto Ninja Storm 4. I do play a little bit of the Shinobi Striker, even though I think the game is straight trash, and I'm going to do a review on that game. It's coming up. And of course, I play NBA 2K any year. I play all of them. 2K19, of course, it's the new one, so I'm definitely on that. If you want to play me and do that, I'll have some new anime reviews coming up soon. This is your boy BVisionENT, and I am signing out.
Now you fucking with the dope. Now she fucking with the